Hello friends and welcome to this session on DI. Today we would be doing the last concept on DI, which is pie charts. So we have already covered the tables, the basic introduction of DI through tables, the bar graphs, right, the line graphs, and today we would be doing pie charts. And after that we would be covering various caselets of DI so that we can do a question in our examination. So agenda would be why do we use pie charts, then we would learn how to construct pie charts and then how to interpret them. So to put simply, pie charts are used to represent one variable only, right? So one continuous variable, just to represent one continuous variable we use pie charts, right? So what do we mean by one continuous variable? So one continuous variable means just one variable. For example, if we want to represent the various percentage groups of students, right? So for example, students scoring more than 90%, students scoring between 50 to 60% and all that stuff, this is one variable, right? This is just one variable and we can represent it using pie charts. It would be very convenient to use pie charts in this case. Similarly, if we want to represent the various types of shoes manufactured, right? So what is the one variable we are talking about? We are talking about production variable here, and we want to see what kind of production is there in a factory of Nike, right? So that can be very easily represented by a pie chart. Similarly, various segments of population in India, so a rural segment, an urban segment. Keep that in mind that when we are plotting the segments on a graph, right, something like this, the segments should be defined in such a way that there are no common elements between the segments, right? So that has to be kept in the mind. So this is one example of pie chart where I am plotting percentage marks of a class, right? So here 43% students are getting between 60 to 90%, right? 8% are getting more than 90%, and so on and so forth. So there are 4 classes and I am representing that using a pie chart. Now if you see the pie chart, this entire angle is 360, right? And this angle is part of that 360. This angle is again part of that 360, and so on and so forth. So we plot pie chart based on this thing, that the angle is a part of the entire circle, which is 360, right? So how to construct a pie chart is very easy. So here we have taken the data chart of this pie chart, which is more than 90 there were 10 students, more than 60 to, between 60 to 90% 55, 43 and 21 respectively. Then we find the percentage of each. So 10 divided, so total number of students here is 129. If we add them, it comes up to be 129. So this becomes the percentage, which was how much? 8% here. Similarly, this was 43% and so on and so forth. Now with these percentages we cannot construct the pie chart, because percentages might be relevant for our bar chart, right? For example, if we have to construct a bar chart, we can construct bars of, let's say this is 8%, then this would be a 43%, this would be something like this, and finally this one. So this bar chart would be very convenient using percentages, but to convert this data into pie chart, we have to multiply it by 360 so that we can find the degrees and likewise construct the pie chart. So for example, this would be some degrees here, so we would construct a sector something like this. Similarly, 43% would represent some another degree, so we would construct a sector like this, and another sector like this, and this. So there might be a question where you would be given a, let's say, a bar graph in the question, and you have to represent a particular pie chart, right? So something like this kind of bar graph. So you don't need to convert these percentages into angles, so you have to just look at the regions. So this region should be highest, this should be lower than this should be slightly lower, and this should be lowest, right? I have just put in this concept so that you understand that how to construct pie charts, though it might not appear in your exam directly, but it's useful to understand how to construct a pie chart. Now the last segment of this video would be how to interpret pie charts, right? So again, suppose this pie chart is given to you, which is the percentage marks of a class, right? Now 43 is given, 33 is given, 16 and 8. You cannot make any sense out of this data unless and until one of these numbers is given, right? So let's say the question says that those students who scored more than 90% are 10 in number, right? So 10 in number would be how much? It would be 8%. So 8% of total. 8% of total is equal to 10%, and hence we can find the number of students, right? So it would be, number of students would be 10 into 100 by 8, so 1000 by 8, right? So this is how we can thus find all the numbers. So you just see that even using one number we can find all the numbers, right? So this is the beauty of a pie chart and a percentage thing, right? Because overall the total percentage is 100, right? In a complete pie chart the overall percentage is 100, right? So we use our basic fundas of percentages here and do the questions of pie charts very easily, right? So this was one of the easier example. Now let's take another example. So this is the chart title is not given. This is the chart of the production of Nike, right? So Nike produces 5 models: model 1, model 2, model 3, model 4, model 5, in these percentages: 16, 19, 16, 25, 32 and 8. Now again the further data is given that model 1 is produced 30% for male and rest for female, so 70% for female, 55 for male and rest for female, 45% for female, right? Here 60% for female, here 65 and 30% for female. Now again only one data point is given, one absolute data point is given. So if you see, all these percentages are comparative data points, right? So we can compare 90 with 16, 19 with 16, or with 25 and so on. Similarly we can compare this 30 with this 55 and so on, but we don't know the absolute number. So just one absolute number is given, which is shoes of model 1 were 3000 in number, right? So this 19% was 3000 in number. So 19% of total is equal to 3000, and hence we find the total and these terms as well, right? So we'll find what is 32% of the total, 8% of the total and so on. And now whatever question is asked, what is the percentage of model 3 manufactured for women, we can very easily find out, right? We can find out model 3 was 25%, right? So total would be how much? It would be 3000 divided by 19 into 100, right? And model 3 would be 1/4 of this, so we can directly do 1/4 of this, right? So that would be model 3. Now once we have model 3, we can also find what how many shoes of model 3 were manufactured for women, right? So this is what is actually data interpretation, that you are given one set of data, a relative terminologies of data, and you have to actually construct the data for the entire thing, right? So this is basic usage of pie charts, that we can construct the entire thing using just one data point, right? So that's the beauty of it. So this would be it as far as the concept of pie chart is concerned. It's not very difficult, right? We would see the caselets in coming few videos, and I hope that by doing those caselets as practice sets, you would be able to achieve more clarity on these concepts. So this is it for now. So thanks for watching this video, and all the best for your preparations.